Tell me about CMC.
Oh, man. So it was crazy seeing him. So I was a junior in high school. He was a true freshman. I visited during the season, his freshman year, on a bye week, and he wasn't playing. It was like week 6. And this guy's like the ultimate competitor. He's like, I should have went to Oregon. I would have been playing as a true freshman. Sure enough, he was ready to
Go.
roll because he wanted to play. And Shaw, respectfully, like I said, he had his
Method to his madness.
method. And his method, he's over a decade, he was top 5 winningest coach. Like, he had his method. And it was just the beginning of, like, I feel like athletes starting to kind of understand their value, right? It was the early, it was just before NIL was kind of kicking off. We were going to the Steve Clarkson camp, like trendsetters. Mm-hmm. And Clarkson was telling me and Eason and Shea Patterson, Felipe Franks and Austin Kendall, like that was our class.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are going to get paid your freshman year. Like, you're at least going to be able to take brand deals. Like, NIL is going to break.
Yeah.
So for the Stanford model, that was the biggest threat.
Of course.
And what started happening, so that year, sticking on CMC, Coach Shaw started playing him like week 10.
Don't want to lose this guy.
Week 10, week 11. Then he goes to the Foster Farms Bowl and goes for 2 tuds. He's wearing number 27, little white guy.
I know.
Who's this guy? And so that was obviously the start of him. I was not there at the time.
Right.
Flash forward the next year there, and they put me right next to him. He's my locker mate, and I mean I have nothing but like the utmost respect for the guy. I mean, I was telling you earlier offline, like he does everything the right way.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in 7-on-7 team tech. Like, if he drops a ball, like he's dropping down and giving you 20. He's just like so locked in on everything that he does. His training methods were always insane. He always had the best guy he was pulling from the San Jose Sharks. Docs he was pulling from the SF Giants. He was just always like looking for an edge.
Yeah.
But I mean, he'd pull out the keyboard. He'd pop on the keyboard in the locker room. He was one of the best ping pong players in the locker room. He can rap better than the bros in the locker room. I mean, he was just an all-time like locker room guy, but also like a guy that just like demanded respect just based on how he went about his business.
Hell yeah.
And so my freshman year was pretty incredible. It was like watching every game was like, I would watch obviously the telecast,
right?
And it was like the CMC show,
Yeah.
I mean, so much of everything went through him in our offense, and we always joke around, but like we had so many drives, like end of game, like Shaw's style obviously is like let them screw up, but like we're gonna do our deal, and we don't care if they know what we're running. I mean, we would run power, pin pull 5-6 times in a row to close games out, and everyone knew what we were doing, and they just couldn't stop it.
Right.
And then you add in a little play action. We had Francis Owusu. We had Michael Rector. This was Keller's first year, so we were coming off a little bit of a lull relative to Kevin Hogan. But, dude, I mean, he was just – I mean, I remember him going down to the Heisman that year and, like, spending time with Drake and, like, he was just – I mean, he would get more fan mail than anyone I've ever seen. He'd get containers of like white containers of like different kinds of protein and whole nine, like raw milk protein, like powder from Bill Romanowski.
Nice.
Longest yard.
I know Romo.
See you in your pet iguana practice, Romanowski.
Yeah.
So, dude, I don't know. He had a obviously unbelievable support system, like with his dad doing what he did, and he kept his circle real tight. He was just one of the most like locked in dudes that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And week in and week out, we really didn't change. We had the O-line, we had the backfield where like we didn't have to change anything. Like he was carrying us like solely. And so, yeah, I mean that's a little C-Mac love for you. The only thing I know I got him in is on the golf course.